to Matt Vickers.
Thank you, Sir John. It's a pleasure, privilege and an honour to serve under your chairmanship on this first occasion. I'd like to also thank the Honourable Member for West Bromwich for bringing forward this important debate today. Honourable members have shared the horror and pain caused by knife crime and suffered by too many across this country. The rate of knife crime in the West Midlands has been and remains too high. Knife crime is a blight on the region, creating challenges that go beyond injuries and tragically fatalities. It undermines communities, leaving people feeling unsafe and in some cases deterring them from going about their daily lives. Any government is right to prioritise this issue. The commitment to reducing knife crime by 50% in the next decade is a worthy goal set by the government. However, precisely how it intends to achieve this goal remains uncertain. It will require difficult and targeted action. As many members will know, the number of offences excluding fraud and computer misuse dropped by 50% between 2010 and 2023. Fraud and computer misuse also dropped by 20% from 2017, when it was first recorded, to 2023. This included significant decreases in violence with and without injury. We know, therefore, that substantial reductions in crime are achievable. However, the specific challenges posed by knife crime will require tailored solutions. I would appreciate if the Minister could elaborate today in greater depth on how the government plans to achieve this ambitious reduction. People need to know that when they make the decision to carry a knife, there's a good chance they'll be caught and face the full force of the law. Police officers need to know that when they make the decision to stop and search, that the state will be on their side. You can't take knives off the street without trusting, empowering and properly resourcing our police officers. This should include utilising violence reduction units and ensuring police are deployed in the right places at the right times, using hotspot policing. The continuation of funding for serious violence in the police funding settlement is welcome. However, it appears to fall short of the £55 million per year previously allocated to the 20 violence reduction units. The last government had outlined plans to increase this by 50% to support preventative interventions. I understand that funding for these initiatives is often drawn from multiple sources. Can the Minister clarify how much funding these units will receive and whether further increases are expected in future years? There are now more police on the streets than ever before, but concerns have been raised by police forces that they may need to reduce headcounts over the next year due to funding pressures from the recently announced settlement. This issue has been exacerbated by the increase in employers' national insurance contributions, and there are projections that as many as 3,500 officers could be lost. While the government has indicated it will increase the number of neighbourhood police, can the Minister assure us today that total officer numbers will not decline over the coming years? A reduction in officers would pose significant challenges to investigating knife crime and delivering justice. There are also areas where I hope we can find agreement. The Criminal Justice Bill, which unfortunately was unable to pass prior to the general election, contained measures to strengthen knife crime legislation, including addressing the sale and use of weapons. One proposal was to increase the maximum penalty for selling knives to those under 18 from 6 months to 2 years imprisonment. Another was the introduction of a new offence for the possession of a knife or offensive weapon in public or private with the intent to use unlawful violence, carrying a maximum penalty of 4 years imprisonment. When the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council gave evidence to the Criminal Justice Bill Committee, they expressed full support for these proposals. My question to the Minister is whether the government intends to include such measures in upcoming legislation during this session of Parliament. Turning to the West Midlands specifically, knife crime is undeniably a significant issue. The Crime Survey for England and Wales, released in October, revealed that 10% of all knife crime occurred in this region. While there was a small positive development, knife or sharp instrument offences recorded by West Midlands Police saw a 1% decrease compared to a 16% increase recorded by the Metropolitan Police. Overall levels remain far too high. Indeed, the total number of offences recorded by West Midlands Police is still 2% higher than pre-pandemic levels. It's worth noting that NHS data from September 2024 also showed a small decrease in hospital admins involving sharp objects or firearms compared to the previous year, with 10 fewer incidents recorded in the West Midlands. However, we all agree we need further reductions. Both the local police force and government must strive to reduce the levels of knife crime in the region. As members from the region will recall, the Peel assessment by His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Service was critical of West Midlands Police Force. Improvements have undoubtedly been made since, but there is more to do. One positive example highlighted in the report was the force's use of a knife prediction tool developed by their data analytics lab. This tool uses 3 years of data to predict where injuries caused by knives are most likely to occur up to 4 weeks in advance. Measures are then put in place to reduce risks in these areas. Between April and August 23, compared to the same period in 2022, the force reported a 4.4% reduction in recorded cases of serious youth violence involving knives and an 11.4% overall reduction in serious youth violence. Furthermore, West Midlands Police benefited in 2022 from 20,612 additional patrols funded by the Home Office's GRIP and Hotspot policing initiatives. With continued advancement in technology, it's reasonable to expect further gains. Can the government confirm they will ensure sustained financial support for these effective policing methods? Despite these examples of progress, the inspector identified areas requiring improvement. One key recommendation was to ensure officers have the skills and capabilities needed to carry out high-quality investigations. This concern is reflected in the statistics. In the year ending March 2024, 30.1% of offenders charged or summoned for possession of weapons offences nationally were successfully prosecuted. However, in the West Midlands, this figure was just 17.4%. While this encompasses various dangerous weapons, knives remain amongst the most common. How do the government intend to work with West Midlands Police, the Crown Prosecution Service, to ensure offenders are brought to justice? Finally, I wish to raise the matter of devolved powers. As members from the region will be aware, the former Mayor for the West Midlands and the previous government sought to transfer Police and Crime Commissioner powers. Whilst this proposal was not supported by the Labour PCC, it raises questions about the government's future plans. In light of the devolution white paper, does the Minister foresee the Mayor assuming the powers of the PCC? I'm confident the Minister understands the scale of the challenge in reducing knife crime. It's by no means an easy task. Therefore, I hope we can work together in this Parliament to support measures that will take meaningful action to reduce knife crime, not only in the West Midlands, but across the country. Thank you.